Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it may be for you. My name's Mike, and today we're going to talk about trucking. Well, I'll put out a series of videos, and this will be, it will contain many subjects, but in particular, it's going to deal with people that are getting into trucking, and also people that have been in trucking that want to kind of get to the next level, meaning they want to maybe own their own company or get started in um, get started with their own, one truck, or maybe want to start a fleet. I'm gonna split it up in parts, and we'll call those the beginning, the middle, and the end. And the beginning consists of getting training. Before you drive a truck, you have to get trained on how to drive a truck. Make sure that you get trained properly by a school, trucking school, by a junior college that has training in their curriculum. You can even find a person who has a truck. You can pay him to teach you how to drive the truck. Last but not least, you can get an employee. You can get hired onto a trucking company who has employer sponsored training. They'll train you how to drive a truck from beginning to end. It's a good way to go if you don't have the cash up front. I started 23 years ago, and a lot of companies did not train you. They left it up to the trucking schools, and it was very, very expensive back then. I think trucking school for me back in '92, the cost was maybe $6,500. I don't know what it's. I really don't know the cost of it today. I haven't really kept I haven't really kept up with the trend of the prices of the day. Some are cheaper, some are a little more expensive, but that's about the median price of what it'll cost to get trained. I'll also show you a technique of um, how to determine if you're able to be hired by a trucking company. We'll just go through it's just a battery of questions that you pretty much answer, and depending on how those questions are answered, or depending on the situation, you might not even be able to get hired by a trucking company. So this will help those who have, something like too bad of a driving record. Maybe your criminal record is, just uh, a little bit, well, as far as they're concerned, a little too violent uh, for you to be hired on to a trucking company. We'll talk about what to do once you get hired by a company. Um, like as far as what to expect at the seminar. You have to go to a seminar, which is about 3 or 4 days, and I mean you do a ton of paperwork for 3 or 4 days straight. And then after that, they'll put you with a trainer. We'll talk about what to do, to what you want to pack, things you want to take to when you're getting trained. When you get on the truck with a trainer, this is very important. Packing the right things, when you go out, because believe it or not, your living space is gonna go from whatever house you're living in to maybe something the size of a duffel bag, and that will be your living space inside of that truck with another person. We'll also talk about how to deal with trainers, how to find a good trainer, because a lot of these guys, I mean, for lack of better words, they have serious mental problems. Some of these people, and a lot of guys on power trips, and a lot of guys are. There's a lot of guys that just don't need to be training. They don't need to be in the position of authority over someone. So we're gonna show you how to avoid, or if you do get in that situation, how to get out of that situation. if you're with a trainer who's you know, who's a little off. All right. The middle part consists of, what kind of trucking is the best fit for you. I also want to talk about which aspect of trucking, and what I mean by that is which type of truck or which type of trucking job is best for you. Also, we want to help you identify, you know, what type of trucking that you will thrive in, because you got to remember, this is a marathon. It's not a race. It is a very, very long marathon. It might take you a couple of years to figure out what type of trucking you want to drive, what type of trucking you actually want to do. So we're gonna deal with that on a video also in the future. And then we're gonna deal with the end, and this consists of how to find a good company and build longevity. You don't want to get in the habit of jumping from company to company. That's a rat race. That is a meat grinder. You do not want to be part of that. As a bonus, this is for guys that are well along in trucking. I'm gonna discuss leasing from a company versus buying your truck from a dealership or a leasing company outside of a trucking company. We'll talk about the advantages and disadvantages of both choices. And you guys will find that very informational. Got a lot of information on that. I'll provide you also with trucking company resources that'll help you. That'll help you get a lot of insight into the right trucking company to go with. Now, I painstakingly went through a list of companies, and these companies are very, very, they're very, very good. They're very good companies. They pay from starting pay on most of them are starting at 60,000, and I found a few that you can make up to $90,000 a year. And if you do your math, 90,000 is about $1,500 to $1,700 a week. So some you can find right out of trucking school. Sometimes the companies, they know that a lot of drivers are starting out, and sometimes they might have a critical driver shortage. So what they'll do from time to time, they'll bite the bullet and just take students on. And we'll also talk about how to start and maintain a small fleet. And a small fleet can be from 2 to 5 up to 20 trucks. We're also going to talk about establishing a good financial foundation. Foundation that'll keep you in business for years on end. What I'm also going to do is we're gonna talk about other videos on YouTube that I found were very helpful in explaining the present day, or keeping you in touch with the present day pulse of trucking. All right, guys. Hey, subscribe. My name's Mike, and hey, I'm gonna catch up to you guys in the next videos. All right, peace.